Welcome to the Week 3 Los Angeles City Section Boys Volleyball Podcast. I'm at Verdugo Hills here with JJ, Greg, and Roland of the Verdugo Hills Dons. You guys are off to an 8-3 season so far. So JJ, we'll start with you. 8-3, not a bad start. How are you feeling heading into league play now? I know you've played a couple games, but the early season that's over, how do you feel that went?
I feel like we're going to do really good in league. We're going to win league for sure. I'm confident about that. Playoffs, I don't know about like how the brackets are going to be going, so I'm very excited for that also.
And Greg, you're one of the captains on this team, and I saw taking in some of practice. Very supportive. After every play, you're high-fiving, giving guys taps on the back. Have you always been so supportive?
Oh, well, this year I'm definitely trying to be because I was set as captain, but previous years not as much.
So what's changed? Just the captaincy, and how tough has that been?
Well, it's not tough. It's just the fact that I want to have good team chemistry and, I want to play well this year, so I'm doing my best.
Roland, going up against a guy like Greg in practice, you're in the middle against him, and you had some great plays yourself. I don't want to sell you short, but how hard is it going up against a guy who's 6'6"?
It's harder than anybody else, any other school. This kid's amazing, but I love it. I love every minute of it.
In league play, Coach, I talked to Coach Reinhardt before practice, and he mentioned how you guys are the favorites to win the league again. Does that put any pressure on you, JJ? I'll go back to you. Is that tough at all? I know you've been there, done that, but the beginning of the year, is that pressure for you?
It's not as much pressure as people would think it would be, but it does take some pressure, pretty much a lot.
Greg, what are some team goals you guys have this year?
Well, definitely everybody wants to get as far as possible in playoffs, keep the record up, and I think that's basically it.
Roland, I know the girls volleyball team that coaches in the fall, they won the city championship, so they just got their rings, and he said that pumped you guys up. You want to get your rings. So what was it like to see them get those rings, and how excited are you to get a chance to win a championship?
It was like looking into the future. I think we're definitely going to get a championship. We definitely have a good chance, and I'll be looking forward to it.
And you guys practice with the girls a little bit. How helpful is it when you guys, I know you don't have the biggest team, so how helpful is it when they step in?
When the girls step in, it actually helps us with a lot of things like passing. Some of the girls do have strong serves, and we do have weak passing sometimes, but most of the time it's always helpful with our fundamental skills.
Greg, I know you're looking to play at the next level. Can you fill me in on where you're looking and just an update there?
Well, I don't have anything specific in mind, but I have had some scouts and colleges emailing me from Ohio and South Carolina, so that's what I'm looking at.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Roland, taking it back to you. So you guys have played El Camino Real, and they're a premier team, going to be in the open division most likely. And I know you kept it close, but you ended up losing 3-0 in that game. What was that challenge like, and how does that help prepare you for what's to come later in the season?
It was a really good challenge. A lot of the El Camino team they're very good, obviously. They're open division. I feel like that really prepared us, especially because we were able to keep it close, neck and neck. So by the time finals and playoffs comes, we'll be ready.
Guys, I got a question for all of you now. What are the memories like that you're going to remember from this team? I know you're all seniors. You've been here for a while, all 4-year guys. What are some memories that you're going to take with you after this season?
I think pretty much everything from Reinhardt yelling at us to winning all the games, losing them, being able to build so much chemistry with my teammates. That's probably the best thing that's ever gonna take with me.
For me, I think it's learning to commit because the past 4 years I've lost 3 playoffs, so this 4th year I'm hoping to do my best and win that ring.
Roland, how about you?
It's my team. For me, I love the team. I can't wait to win a championship with them. If we get that far, hopefully we do. But either way, at the end, it's going to be pretty sad.
All right, a few more questions for you guys. JJ, I know your brother played here and went on to play in college. What's it like looking up to him?
He's actually my idol. I've always looked up to him ever since he started playing high school. Then when he started playing club, he started getting better, and I just wanted to be like him and him with his teammates.
Greg, taking it back to the first question I asked you about being a role model. So this year, you're trying something new a little bit. Have you seen the effects of people been taking your advice, would you say?
I mean, I would hope so. And yes, I do see it as with our passers and setters. I would want to think they'd listen, but I do my best to give advice, but not force it on them.
Roland, last question. What's it like playing for Coach?
It's amazing. No better coach in the world.
Great, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to speak to Coach in a second, so I'm sure he'd like to hear that. But JJ, Greg, Roland, thank you so much. And catch this on Twitter and on YouTube. I'll post it soon. Thank you. We heard from some of the Verdugo Hills players. Now it's time to hear from the head coach, Coach Will Reinhardt. Coach, I've been to the West Valley, I've been to Chatsworth, I've been to El Camino Real, first time at the East Valley for volleyball. So can you give me a bit of a scouting report? I know you guys are the top dogs right now, but who else is it, some teams to watch out here in the East Valley?
Okay, so out here in the East Valley, I mean, consistently we are at or near the top of the league. And historically speaking, Polytechnic High School, the Parrots over there, have a good program. They've also been competitive. This particular year, we've taken the first round from them. We still have to see them again at their place. Monroe has been strong recently, and even though Arleta's not having an up year this season, they have had a pretty good record over the last 4 or 5 years.
Back to you guys. You're 8-3 on the year so far. How would you describe how the early season's gone for you?
So far, I would say it's met or slightly exceeded expectations. Our 3 losses were all to very good quality opponents. We were in each of those matches, and the victories we've had have been for the most part, pretty dominant victories. We did have a nice match against LaSalle, which has a really quality program, and we were able to take those guys in 4. So that was a nice feather in our cap. And like I said, beating Poly was a quality victory for also.
You're a Division II school, so a couple times you've challenged yourselves against potential open division teams in Division I. You played El Camino Real. How much does that challenge prepare you for what's to come?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, El Camino, some of the other schools in that open division don't have very many weaknesses, so it really kind of exposes what ours are because they come at you from every facet. If we do stay in Division II, I think that's going to absolutely help us competitiveness-wise. If we end up in the open division, I think we can ball with those guys. We may be a little thinner, don't have quite the depth. But as we saw in El Camino last week, we can hang with those guys. I think it was a great experience, and we're looking forward to some more competition before the end of the year.
Off camera, you told me it's not every year you get Greg Pons. This year, 6'6", kid, senior, captain, best player. How much has he helped you, and how much are you looking forward to seeing what he can do in college?
Oh, I'm very excited about it, and having Greg, obviously on the court, he's been outstanding. He just broke our school kill record, which had been held for a few years by C.J. Suarez, and he's going to obliterate that by the time the season's over. But besides the on-the-court stuff, I teach here at Verdugo too. I'm a social studies teacher. I've had Greg as a history student, and I've just gotten to know him as a young man. He's a terrific guy, and he's been a very positive influence on the rest of the team. Looking forward, going ahead into college, I'm excited for him. Northridge, UC San Diego, some schools back east, all taking a look at him. He hasn't committed yet, but he's definitely, I think, a late bloomer and a great find for the coach that's willing to take the chance with him.
Coach, I want to ask you kind of a fun question. I was at the city championship for your girls team. You guys ended up winning that, and I talked to Eric Sondheimer of the LA Times afterwards, and he talked to me about how you're one of the better dressed coaches in the LA City section. You had that nice red blazer. Are we going to see that again this year?
I hope to break out the red blazer, absolutely. And I just recently, fortunately, had the chance to finish one hand with rings for my girls' teams, but my other hand is still blank for the boys' teams, and I've got room. The blazer will definitely make a reappearance. I would love to have the opportunity. Eric's a great guy and a snappy dresser himself, so that's kind of funny coming from him. But look, you got to have a little style, a little fun with it, and city finals, you just don't get tired of that. I'm looking forward to trying to get back there again.
And getting back there, what path is it going to be? Could be in the open division, could be in Division II. Right now you're the top seed in Division II with the latest poll. And we talked a little bit about competitive equity and what all that means. So in volleyball, you guys are a small school, should be in Division III, but you're playing in Division II, and everyone has a chance to make the open. So right now, you're number 9 if we're looking at it that way. Is there a spot that you want to be, and just how do you like that whole system?
It's so tricky. As a coach, you just want to try and be the best you can with your team. Sometimes it's out of your hands. If you are the New England Patriots, are you a bad team because you lost to the Eagles? I don't think so. But obviously not everyone can win. And so in the open division, it would be a much tougher climb. The Division II teams that we have are good teams, but it's not as deep of a field. That's out of my control. That's up to a committee. We're going to play as well as we can, and I'm sure the coaches committee will make a good decision as to where we should be. As far as the system is concerned, I think it's hard for a program like ours where my feeling is we tend to overachieve. My feeling is that we put a lot of hard work into what we're doing, And the reward seems to be that we're playing against much tougher competition with much greater advantages. Can't do much about that other than whatever we put out there, try and take on all comers, whether that's Palisades, El Camino, or Granada, or anybody else. We're going to put the best match out there that we can and not back down to anybody.
Coach, a few more questions for you. What would you consider a successful season this year?
Well, I'd like to see that everyone's healthy. We started out the season with a couple of key injuries, and I'd like to make sure with my girls' season, my starting setter broke her leg, and so health is number one right now. Beyond that, competitively, obviously, we would love to lift a trophy at the end of the year, at least play for one. And look, these guys, I spent a lot of time with them, 4 years with most of them. I just want them to finish off the right way. However that turns out to be, just leave it out on the floor, and that's kind of our mantra, and we're going to do the best that we can to do that.
And then the last question I like to ask the coaches. So I've been to 2 previous schools. I was at Chatsworth with Sina Agassi, and he's very friendly with his players.
He's the coach Pauly, by the way.
Okay, good to know. Great guy. Players love him. Alyssa Lee, the players also love her at El Camino Real, but a bit of more of a disciplinarian, maybe a little bit. They were running a lot. They were a minute late, and so she said, "Hey, my expectation is you're ready at 2:30." They weren't. How would you describe your coaching style?
I would say I'm a little bit of a kind of a chill, kind of a kickback type coach. I will say this, that there's more than one way to skin a cat. And so, Phil Jackson was a great coach, and he was out passing out books and the Zen Master and all that. Bobby Knight was throwing chairs, and he was getting the best out of his players. I don't think there's any one right way to coach. What I like about Alyssa is she's true to who she is. What I like about Sina is the same. And for me, my personality, the ethos of this program is it's going to be fun. Even more than winning, I care about having fun here. I think winning is fun, so they kind of go hand in hand. But as far as disciplinarian versus, beach mentality, I would say I probably am a little bit more beach mentality. And if they want to do the push-ups and pull-ups and all that stuff, they go out to the football field, or, they join another team and get that out of their system. But I have respect for my colleagues across the city, and people like the ones you mentioned and others have put so much into volleyball and helped make these kids the best they can be. So I'm proud of being part of that fraternity as well.
That's Will Reinhardt, the coach of Verdugo Hills. Coach, thank you so much, and good luck this year.
Hey, you're welcome, Connor. Yeah, hope to see you again at the finals, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You know the way.
Yes.
We do too. Hopefully we'll be there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.